Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are back at it. This is a special edition, Halloween edition. In fact, I should be in my Halloween outfit, which I don't have. But thank you guys so much for tuning in with me today. We're going to be doing a live Q&A to help you guys answer all your questions. Normally, I've been doing that every single month, but obviously, with multiple locations, things have been getting very busy. We also started Home Service Scalers, which is our coaching community to help entrepreneurs grow a more successful lawn and landscape business. And so, just very, very busy. So had a little bit of time today. And so we're going to go ahead and do a special edition. So if you guys are watching, I know we got some live viewers here. Go ahead and put your questions in the comments. I also have a few teaching points that I want to share with you. Really educational stuff, mindset, framework, things like that to really help you navigate through this off season, make more money, be a good steward of the time and the resources that God has given us. And so, welcome. We're just going to hang out here this morning. We're going to do this for probably about 45 minutes to 50 minutes. And we're just going to kind of go at it. So I want to start off here. I had somebody email me a question about their business. So I'm actually going to answer it live right now. And this is from Justin G. And he's up in Michigan. He sent me an email at media@militarylawncuts.com and said, hey, quick question for you. He's watching all the videos and things of that nature. So Justin, thanks for the question today. And this is what his question was. I was reaching out before I dive into all of your videos or more random stumblings. If you had $5,000 to $15,000 right now as a startup, how would you go about using that for longevity of equipment? Would I focus on brand new tools, used trailer, or other way around? Focus on higher quality vehicle to last. I'm looking to do this long term. It's been growing and festering, and by next spring season, I'd like to be fully prepared. I'd also like to just focus on working solo. Sounds crazy. For maybe the first few years, and also do landscaping jobs on the weekend or after mowing hours. So, with that, so $5,000 to $15,000 if we're talking equipment. So the first thing I would do, Justin, is really do a diagnostic of your service area. If you dropped a pin on your location and drew a 5 to 7 mile radius around that, what are the majority of the size and type of properties? Are they mainly commercial? Are they mainly residential? Okay, cool. Once you decipher that, then you would look into how large are the properties. Are you in a very rural area that has acreage of properties? Or are you in an area that has a lot of HOAs that have smaller residential lawns where all you need is a 21-inch push mower? When you're just getting started, what I know is every dollar counts. And so instead of wasting that money on equipment that you don't need, I would ask yourself from an asset utilization standpoint, how much is this piece of equipment going to be used 5 days a week or 6 days a week if you're going to build it on Saturdays as well? So I'm a firm believer in the beginning, buying used equipment is the way to go. And I think that will be a better leverage for you to get over that hump and really save as much money as you possibly can to deploy it in other areas, which honestly, if I'm just getting started, I don't think I would really be thinking too much about equipment unless like you don't have anything, then maybe try to get a cargo hitch or something like that. But I really want to put most of my dollars into marketing, into sales. That's what's actually going to drive the business forward, not the fancy mower that we just bought, not the fancy weed eater or even truck. Like, just get something to get you by in the beginning. You can buy all that fancy stuff later when you actually start making money from the customers that you acquire with using that 5 to 15,000, mainly, preferably more so for marketing. So all that to say, I guess to answer your question, I would buy used equipment. I would only buy the stuff that I needed: mower, weed eater, blower. Get started at least with that. Maybe a truck if you need, maybe a used trailer or a dovetail if you can get away with that. And take a look at your properties, see what comes down. All right, we got some questions already in the comments. Guys, thank you so much for joining me on your Halloween day. All right, my wife says, good morning. Good morning, beautiful. Hope you're having an amazing day. The 10X rule book behind you is so good. I agree. Most people, if you haven't listened to it, you should definitely go and listen to it. Highly recommend. Very good book. In fact, I read that book about a year or two ago. Actually, I didn't. I listened to it in an Audible book, and I actually am applying it right now. Like, I'm already reworking like our strategy for 2026 and like what I think we're going to be able to do. And I'm really excited to share with our leadership team of like what I'm already thinking about, like by 10Xing it. So hopefully they're ready for that. All right. Bro Daryl says, any tips on moving customers over to a new CRM? Yeah, absolutely. So we have done this twice now. We've gone from Yardbook to Service Autopilot, and then from Service Autopilot to Copilot. And anytime that you switch over to a new CRM, just know that you are going to lose about probably like 25 to 40 on the high end if it's not done right. Probably 25 to 35% of people are just going to like not transfer over. Theoretically, if you currently right now, Daryl, have where you require a card on file, when you make that switch, you're going to lose at least probably 20, 25% of those customers. So just bake that into your process of when you go and switch over, that you're going to lose a decent chunk of those people. It's just part of it. They quietly go. It just is what it is. Now, as far as like getting their accounts set up, sometimes the CRM that you go to will have the ability to help you onboard those customers. I would pull like a CSV file with all of their names, their address, their phone numbers. I would not do this manually. Like when you're talking 100, 200, 300 customers, if you have like significantly less, like maybe 100 or less customers, you probably could just do this manually in the off season by yourself. But like once you start getting higher volume, you definitely want to utilize the technology so that way you can just kind of import a Excel spreadsheet with all of the exported data from the old CRM and put it into the new CRM. And then also like getting them set up. I mean, anytime that you switch over to a new CRM, there's so much more education that comes along with that of like learning the new system. How do you route? How do you dispatch? How do you notify customers? Do you have email communication now or text communication? If the biggest thing for us was getting the cards on file. And so the process that we used for that is for one, we started off, we emailed them. We said, hey, we're going to a new system. We need to update you to card. We blast out an email. And so that got like maybe 40 to 50% of them to get their card updated. The other 50%, then we moved to a text. We texted them and said, hey, we're pushing out a new system. We need you guys to update your card. And then that I think got like 20 or 30%, but there was still like 20 or 25% that like after the email and after the text, then we had to physically call, leave voicemails. And then again, you're always going to have those people that just don't respond and kind of ghost you and kind of disappear quietly. All right. Dan Roberts says, hey, would you recommend a circa 12K secondhand truck that are well-maintained for the fleet as you expand, or look into financing new trucks that are under warranty, so less breakdowns? I think it depends on your actual like situation with the finances that you have, how comfortable you are with debt and really financing trucks. Me personally, we've built military lawn cuts completely debt free from the ground up. We bootstrapped that thing. I still remember putting a mower in the back seat of my Pontiac Grand Prix. Fast forward to now, this past year, I think we peaked at like 18 or 19 team members. We have 3 locations. We have multiple trucks, multiple crews. So like, and we're still debt free. And I think that's very valuable. It is a much slower growth rate, but when I go to bed at night and I put my head on the pillow, I sleep really well, knowing that I don't have to owe a lot of people money, and we are funding our growth ourselves. We're not in massive amounts of debt that could become an issue down the road. But yeah, I mean a 12K truck. So we buy all of our trucks used. We generally go 4 or 5 years old. We try to keep it under about 100,000 miles, and I mean that's all our fleets, and they last for about 5 to 7 years if you take care of them, change the oil, and make sure the guys are treating them right. Um, yeah, that's I would always recommend going the kind of more used truck route instead of trying to finance brand new ones. But that's just me. But whatever you're comfortable with, you could definitely weigh out both options. All right. You're welcome, Daryl. He said, thanks. Oh, you know what, guys? I'm slacking. You guys need to keep me accountable here. See, we gotta put these things on the screen. It's more interactive. Here we go. See, Daryl said, thanks, Will. You're welcome, man. All right. So I want to talk about we're going to transition into more of an educational thing because we don't have any more questions. So if you have questions, put them in the comments. So the number one problem that I see, I do a lot of coaching calls, by the way. We just launched our home service scalers a few months back. It's going absolutely amazing for anybody that is trying to grow. The number one problem that I see with new business owners, and what I mean by new business owners is like anybody that's doing under probably like 200,000, maybe 250,000 per year, is I would quote unquote call like a new business owner. Like you have not been in the game for longer than most likely 5 years. So with that scenario, which fits like probably 90% of people, I would say has, number one, not been in business for 5 years. And number two, they're not doing above 250,000 in revenue, in annual revenue. So a lot of times where I see one of the biggest issues when I'm doing my coaching calls is there's a problem that they are marketing and they're doing door hangers and they're doing Facebook ads and they're doing Google ads and they're wrapping their truck, but they don't know the data to their business. And that is a really, really big problem. Like from 0 to 250,000, we have to figure out what that data is to unlock us to get to 500 plus. And the one big issue that I see is business owners are not tracking their lead source. Okay. The lead source is crucial data that you must receive every time a new lead calls your business or gives you their information because they want to quote. We have to know where they came from. If we're not asking them where they came from, we are running our businesses blindly. It's like getting in a truck at night, turning the headlights off and going 60 miles an hour down the road on a backcountry road where there could be deer that come out. Like, and you don't know, and it's a winding road. Like that is a recipe for disaster. And so I highly encourage you guys. I was just doing a coaching call recently this past week, and on their website, they're gathering their name, their email, their phone number, and then the services they want, but they're not asking, how did you hear about us? We have to. It is imperative. It is a non-negotiable. If you are a business owner, to build a business with real data, you must put in there, put a drop down on your website, your lead form, whatever. How did you hear about us? It is as important as the lead itself. So that way we can make good data-driven decisions. The second thing is when a customer calls in and asks for a quote and you answer the phone, cool. Hey, I just need your name. Okay, you need a quote for mowing. Great. What's your address? Just out of curiosity, we need to ask this question. How did you hear about us? In both forms, whether they're submitting a form on the website or they're calling. We need that data. Your CRM should be able, there should be a section inside of your CRM to put that data. And then ideally at the end of the month, you pull the report, you see where all your leads are coming from, and that will allow you to figure out where you should put your money. Because in the beginning, guess what? We're all trying to make money and you only have so much of it. So if you're picking up mud and just throwing it at the wall and some of it's going to stick, that's not really a good idea. It's not a really good approach. Please track the lead source on every lead that comes through. That's my advice to you if you're watching today. All right, we got some more questions. This is a live interaction Halloween special edition, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Daryl's got something else here for you. Now I actually have the questions on the screen so you guys can now feel like you're more part of this, which is good. All right, Daryl, what are your best practices for reviews as a solo operator? I have 30 reviews on Google, but I'd really like to at least double that number next season. All right, this is a good question. All right, so if I'm going to treat you like a GM of my own location, Daryl, this is what I would ask my GM. Have you tapped into your local network? So you have a cell phone and you have people that support you. You have neighbors, you have friends, you have family, and you have a lot of people probably on Facebook, if you have a Facebook. I would tap into those resources first. Those are connections that you've built over the last few years of friends and family, and just simply create a template that says, hey, it's Daryl. I'm trying to grow my business. Could you take 30 seconds and leave me a positive review about me as a person and an owner and what you know about me, right? Like, hey, I'm very communicative. I'm very nice. I'm very genuine. I am very trustworthy. It could be that, right? They don't need to be like, oh yeah, I got my lawn mowed from you and be dishonest. That's not what we're saying. We're asking them to support your business, leave you a 5-star review, you as an owner. And I would tap into that first. You, I think, would be surprised at how many reviews you can get with just doing that. That's number one. Number two, now when it comes to actually asking your customers for reviews, so the best time to do this, if you took, Daryl, let's just say for the next week, because I don't even honestly, if my GM asked me this question, I'd say, hey, dude, let's not wait till next season. Can we do this now? Can we do this week? This week, you probably have some mows on your route or landscape jobs. Every single job when you finish, every single one, ring the doorbell, greet the customer, introduce yourself, say, hey, my name's Daryl. I just finished mowing your lawn today. I just wanted to check with you to see if there's anything else that you would like me, or how has the quality been? How has the service been? I'm here to do a quality check. And when the customer says, it's been amazing, we love it, you guys are awesome, cool, that's when you turn the phone around. Awesome. Do you mind taking 30 seconds? Leave me a quick Google review. It helps our business reach more great homeowners just like you. Then if they say, no, they didn't blow the grass clippings off the porch, on the back porch. Cool. Hey, no worries. I'm going to get you taken care of right now. I'm going to put it in the job notes. I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen again, because we are about quality here. And we want to make sure that we are serving you to the highest degree. And so it's a win-win either way, right? Like you either get a review or you get better and learn of what you need to improve. So that's what I would do. You can build automations around it, but that's a little bit more complex. Most people, if they just did those two things, you'd probably get 25 reviews in the next 2 weeks. Try it, and then let me know how that goes. All right, we got some more questions coming in. Dan Roberts says, thanks. Very helpful, man. Thanks for joining me on your Friday. I'm thinking it's a Saturday, but it's Friday. It's Halloween, ladies and gentlemen. Special edition. Dan Roberts, do you run trailers or ramp racks? Thinking of changing over to ramp racks as we expand and just weighing up pros and cons. So great question, Dan. First, I would ask you, okay, so me personally, let me answer the question. We run dovetail ramp racks on our setups. So we did have a welder who fabricated a custom design for us. And then we also just branched out this last year and got a few ramp racks to test and try. They've been working really well. The guys really like them. They're fully customizable. When you retire a truck, you can kind of swap it over to a new truck. To whereas our custom built ramps, they still need some fabrication and tweaking. To where the ramp racks are very customizable. When it comes to cost, ramp rack is very expensive. I think it's like $3,500. It's really, really expensive. But they are durable and they last a long time. So before making this decision, Dan, I would look at your properties. I would look at the turf square footage. Personally, and it depends on also your mowing equipment. Like if you're doing like 48-inch plus mower size decks, you probably want to stick with more of a trailer setup. I think you can still fit it in on a ramp rack, but like if you have a 52 or higher, you're probably going to want to just stay trailers. Anything like our lawns are all under 8,500 turf square feet. We use 21-inch push mowers on everything. So we don't, for us, a trailer is overkill. Like I don't want to have to worry about extra tires. I don't want to have to worry about flat tires, another axle, a trailer registration. I don't want to have to train my team on how to back trailers up. Like I just the goal in business is to make it as simple as possible to scale. And so, yeah, hopefully that answered your question. All right. Nathan Duke says, hey, Will, I'm curious on what's your return on investment conversion rates on your door hangers. Also, this is my first year in lawn care and am planning on putting out 20,000 door hangers right at spring rush. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Look, if I had a little like confetti thing here on this thing, I would push it for Nathan, because Nathan is following the 10X rule essentially. And you know how I know that? Because most people, when they start and it's their first business, they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go put out 1,000 door hangers. I was talking to a business owner the other day. He's like, yeah, man, I got some door hangers. I said, cool. How many did you get? He said 750. I said, dude, you need to add a 0 to that. I'm like, a 5,000 is a test batch. So the fact that you're putting out 20,000 door hangers in your first spring rush, dude, great job. Very good job. All right. So as far as return on conversion rates, this will range anywhere from about 0.5% up to, I've seen 2%, maybe even 3%. It really depends, Nathan, on the timing. So last year, we started doing our door hangers a couple of weeks before the actual growing season started. We were not getting great returns. The second the actual spring rush hit and we were doing door hangers, we saw more of a 1% to 2% return. And so timing matters with this stuff. Also, the offer on the door hanger matters as well. So keep those two things in mind. But assuming that you're going to do it at the right time when the demand is the highest, and you have a decent offer or a nice door hanger that's clean and simple, anywhere from 0.5% to about 2% in markets is about the range that we see. Daryl said, that's solid advice. Thanks again, Will. Thank you for tuning in, Daryl. You got some good questions. All right, Lucas Gosset says, hey, any tips or tricks to selling aeration in winterizing jobs this time of year? I own a small landscaping business and just purchased an aerator, hoping to keep workload up a bit this winter. Yeah, so aeration is a very good service, especially in the fall, to upsell. You can maybe build an offer around that, where you maybe kind of price it higher. It is more of a premium service, by the way, aeration. And so, you can definitely sell that for this type of season. Also to kind of prepare the lawn to pull those plugs out going through the wintertime. And then winterizing jobs at this time of year. So actually, great that you brought that up. So Larissa, my lovely, gorgeous, beautiful, amazing wife, actually texted me today, and she shared some very good an upsell that she's actually going to be using for this, honestly, probably in the next week or so. So our temperatures down here in Texas are now starting to cool down. And so this is the text that she's actually going to send out to all of our customers verbatim. It says mulch upsell. So with the temperatures dropping into the 40s at night, it is important to have a good layer of mulch in your flower bed to act as a blanket to protect your plants. I have a few spots left on my schedule for this upcoming week. Would you like me to get you a free quote? So that is something as we go into the winter time. Again, she is creating scarcity. I only have a few spots left. There is a limited amount of inventory that we have and routes that we can do. And so very, very good fall upsell would be mulch, by the way, for anybody that is going into the winter season. We always do a spring mulch and then a fall mulch. And then we are, I think, going to be transitioning to also a spring aeration and a fall aeration. Spring and fall are the best time to do those seasonal kind of one-off jobs. So great question, Lucas. All right, Nathan Duke says, yes, I'm going to use Mike Andy's instant quote door hangers, and I'm going to try to time it right. Yes, timing does matter. That is good. All right. Larissa Kelly, the one and only, says, so many businesses go out of business or the owner gets stuck always being the doer. Can you explain the importance of profit first? Okay, yes. So 85% of businesses will fail in the first 5 years. My goal is to help and encourage and give you guys hope to get through those struggling hurdles in the beginning. And it's lonely, right? Like in the beginning, like you don't have a lot of network. You probably don't have a lot of business owner friends that you can talk to or turn to. Most of the time, you just go to your family. And most of the time, if you're like me, my family worked jobs. They were W-2 employees. So the advice that I would get from them isn't always the best advice that I would need. That's practical business advice. So that's number one. Obviously, always like reach out to somebody that is in your sphere or realm that is where you want to be, right? It's one of the most life lesson like things that I learned from my mentor. Take advice from somebody that's where you want to be. Period. That's it. All right. So profit first. Like what is profit first? So most businesses, there's really like two main ways that a business can go out of business. Number one is the business owner quits or throws a towel in, or two, you run out of cash. And so we're going to be talking about the second one, which is you run out of cash. And so on the profit first model and system, it is designed for you to take profit first. Most business owners, this is how they operate. They make, let's just say $10,000. They spend $5,000 on mowing equipment. They spend $3,000 on fuel and supplies, and then they spend like $1,000 on uniforms or other extra stuff, right? And then all of a sudden at the bottom, there's $1,000 left. And then that's their profit, right? That they take home. But instead, the profit first mentality and the mindset and the framework is to completely flip it on its side, to stop you from spending all your money and going and losing all your cash and going out of business. So what does it do? It says before you take and spend any money on expenses, first, allocate a certain percentage of that income that comes in to profit that you will actually take out of the business. Not that you will use for marketing, not that you will use to buy another truck, that you will take out of the business. Most people don't do that in their first 5 years. It is a muscle that you have to build in order for, if you're not doing it at under 250,000 in revenue, you're not going to do it at $1 million or 500,000 plus. It's a muscle that you have to cultivate and build. And so take that money and say, okay, if I have $10,000, what percentage do I want to take home? When I first started, I think it was like 10%. I'm like, look, for every dollar, if I could take 10 cents put it into my pocket, because that's why I got in business originally, to make money, that's a win. So set it up every month. When you get paid, that money that comes in, you take 10% of that, the first thing you do, and put it in be careful with this with the tax account. Make sure you talk to them first, but put it away, put it aside. That is your personal money. That's profit, 10%. And then the other 90% that you have, then that is what you have to pay money for your CRM, for your fuel, for your trucks and equipment. And if you do that first, it's called the Profit First system. For anybody that wants to look deeper into this, I do have a video on this. It's called Profit First. Highly recommend it. I built an Excel spreadsheet. You can see how I do it. It's very, very nice. Great talking point, Larissa. Very good talking point. All right. Lucas says, awesome. Thanks for the advice and everything you do as well. You're welcome. Eggy says, yo, what's up, dude? All right. So I've got, where are we at here? I've got probably 20 more minutes here. If anybody has any more questions, go ahead and put them in the comments below. I'm also going to go into a couple other teaching points that I wanted to talk to you guys about today. So, all right. I do a lot of coaching calls here. This is a special edition, guys. Halloween. We're hanging out on Halloween. This is cool. All right. The catch-22. All right. I made a video about this a few weeks ago, but I want to touch on it more because I think I've seen a recurring issue with people that are under 250, 300,000 in annual revenue. And this is the recurring issue. They fall into this trap of a catch-22, which means what? You have so much work that you're doing that you feel swamped. You feel overworked. You're working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, and you are like literally just overworked. But you don't have enough work to hire another employee and to like get them up to speed full time. Because if you hired another employee, now all of a sudden the workload gets cut in half. And then all of a sudden, what do you like you're not going to have enough work for both of you guys. So there's this weird catch-22 where you're like eyeballs deep in work, but if you hire somebody, you don't have enough work to keep both of you guys busy. All right. And this is very, very important when you are just getting started, because oftentimes what happens is most people, they go out and they hire another team member. That is what happens. Most people. And then they get half of that workload off of their plate. But then what happens is like they're not good stewards of their time because they're not great owners yet. They don't know how to be super efficient with their time. They don't know where to spend their time at. And so a good rule of thumb, I want to share this with you guys. Before you go and hire your first or second employee, okay? Before you do that, ask yourself this one question. And again, most of the people here, and let me disclaim this before I put this out here. This is mainly for people that are doing just basic mowing services, basic landscaping services, not like really big paver patio, construction jobs, pergolas. That's not what we're talking about. I'm talking about basic lawn care and landscaping services, weed control, mowing, bush trimming, mulch, that stuff. Okay. One team member should be able to do $12,000 per month in revenue. If your team member, like, ask yourself this question in your business. Okay, I was talking to a business owner the other day. He's doing $111,000, right, year to date, okay? And he was telling me that he needed to hire somebody else to get the work done. And they were doing really basic services just like us. If you take that model and divide it by 12,000, whoa, hold on, 111,000. I'm sorry, divided by 12. That's $9,250 a month. That's 111,000 year to date. Yeah, I understand that there's 2 more months left, but that's about 9,000. So that's not $12,000. He doesn't need another person. He needs to be more efficient He needs to dial in his systems in his business, and he needs like there are inefficiencies in your business if you feel like you need to hire someone else and you're not able to do 12K per month. Instead of hiring someone else to be another cog in the wheel of the inefficiency that's going on, first take a step back, don't grow too quickly, and fix the business model first. And when I dug deeper into that coaching, I was like, we were figuring out that he was manually texting his mowing customers every single day. And I'm like, dude, why are you doing that? Well, they don't know exactly what day. Okay, then we need to fix that system first before we go and hire another person and have this spaghetti ball of a business. Like we need to figure this out and build the model for one person to do 12,000 seamlessly before adding a second, third, or fourth. And most business owners, when I see, they grow very, very quickly in their first or second year, but they have that ratio off. And when you do that ratio and you ask yourself that question with your employees or your revenue, just take your revenue that you're going to project this year, divide it by 12, and figure out that should give you how many people you need. I'll show you one example other than this because I think this is a really good point. We're going to do about 850,000 in revenue at our main location. If I divide that by 12, that means there's 70,000 on average that we do per month. Now, there's months in June, July, August that we do up to like 105,000. And then in the winter, it goes down to maybe 50 or 60,000, right? But if you divide that by 12,000, that means we should be able to get by with 6 team members on an $850,000 business on average. Now, again, in June, July, August, we might have a couple more than 6. So we might be up at like 8, maybe 9 employees if you want to have a little extra. And then in the wintertime, you might go down to 4 or 5 employees, right? But ask yourself that question. That'll keep you guys on track to focus on your business and your systems first before hiring someone else to be plugged into the system that's inefficient. We have to fix the inefficiencies first. Hopefully that helped. All right. Eggy, we got some more questions. So Eggy says, quick question with taxes. I'm looking at getting a new 36 and 52-inch Gravely stand-on. My dealer gave me a great deal at $19,000 cash, which I can handle. Would it be a good idea to go with that for a tax break? So this is a loaded question, Eggy. I would first want to ask you, okay, here we go. We got some more data. I currently have 32,000 in the bank. Okay, so you have the money. So two deciding factors on this number is number one, where are you at with capacity? Right? Like, do we actually need this additional mower? Okay. That would be number one. Like, are we going to be expanding? Are we just going to get this piece of equipment? Like, ask yourself that asset utilization standpoint, right? Like, throughout the week, how many hours is this piece of equipment going to be used? And if I buy it, is there going to be another piece of equipment, maybe an older one that just sits there and that's not being used? Because again, that's not being a good steward of our resources and our equipment. If you have now I understand when you are in a profit mode business where you're not trying to grow, you do want backups to keep things going. Okay. Only at that point. But if your goal is to grow, I always like to lean more towards sales versus equipment. That's just me. But also I would ask you, like, are you in profit mode? Like, are you trying to grow? How much taxes are you supposedly going to be paying this year if you are in profit mode? That would be a big deciding factor as well. I think some people get in that loop of like trying to get a tax write-off when the goal of business is to make money. And so honestly, like, I'm okay with paying some taxes because I got in business to make money, right? So I think those other things of those data, I would need more to like give you a decisive answer. But number one, ask yourself the asset utilization. How much is this going to be used? Are you in profit mode? I would need to know that. And then how much are you supposedly projected to be paying in taxes? And also weigh out all your other options. What if you took that $19,000 cash and poured that into a spring marketing campaign, right? Like, would that, I want to ask you, would that get you a better return and grow your business further and farther and faster than buying a piece of equipment? I'm not saying not to buy it, but to take $19,000 cash and put it in that piece of equipment is a lot. Also, you should also run an exercise on how much profit you make and how long it's going to take you to get that money back. So if you take that $19,000 today, right now, and buy that piece of equipment, how long will it be until you get that $19,000 back? How many lawns do you have to do, right? And to kind of give you a little bit of an example on that without going too deep. Let's just say, for example, you have a $50 lawn cut times 32 visits a year. That's $1,600 per customer. If you're making 20% on that, that's $320. And I'm going off of my numbers. So profit, it's going to cost me just for the mowing alone, $320. So if we're going to spend $19,000 on a piece of equipment divided by 320, I'm going to need 59 mowing customers, and I'm going to have to retain them for 1 year to make my money back. So run the numbers on your end and see how quickly you can get that money back. Ideally, I like to get my money back within like 6 months. That's ideal. All right, Daryl, is your 12K per employee benchmark based off of 35 budgeted hours per week? No, it's based off of 30. We do 30 budget hours. Also, that's going to vary too, depending on your business, because if you're in like if you're just getting started in business, you might only be at like 60, 70 or 70 per hour. To whereas once I've seen locations that are more established charge 80, 90, 100, maybe even 110 or 120 per hour. So, but at a, like if you want to run it conservatively, run it at 10K. Like one team member should be able to produce 10K per month for the business. That is full time. If you're not doing that, you need to fix the systems in your business. You need to fix the processes. You need to fix your efficiencies. You need to fix your route density. There's problems that are in the business that you have to fix before scaling that. Eggy, this year was profit mode, but next year will be growth mode. Okay, so that makes sense. If you're going to be going into growth mode next year, I would definitely consider that. The other thing that I would maybe consider is like, can we delay that purchase? What do I mean by that? Can you take that same $19,000 that you were going to buy today, right now, that mower? That's probably, if you're like us down here in Texas, assuming wintertime's coming, it's just going to sit in the shop most of the time. It's not going to be used that much. Well, when is it mainly going to be used? In the spring? Okay, cool. Can we take even half of that money, pour it out into marketing for mowing customers and weed control in the springtime, gain 50 to 100 customers, and then right when that peak demand comes and we get an extra 100 customers for the season, all right, now we got to get that mower. Now we've earned it. We have earned it, because I just ran the numbers. I just showed you 60 mowing customers for 1 year will buy us that piece of equipment. And so if we can do that, I would say if you can delay that purchase, use some of that money for marketing, get those mowing customers. I know that if you get over 50 or 60 mowing customers, it will pay for that piece of equipment within that 6 to 12 month window. All right, Nathan Duke says, what door hangers would you recommend I order from Mike Andes? Would I be able to get that 1% to 2% conversion rate with the instant quotes that have mowing, mulch install, and property cleanup door hangers? So this is like, we've tested instant door hangers before. They're good, but like, I would test the data, Nathan. Like, a lot of times what I like to do is get 2 different types of door hangers. And then in my service area, I'll find a main road and I will cut that in half and say, okay, on this side of the area, we're going to use this door hanger. On this side of the door of the service area, we're going to use the other door hanger. And then after 2 weeks or 4 weeks, a month of us doing it, I want to pull a report and see how many door hangers went out, and then how many customers signed up from those door hangers. And I want to see which door hanger worked better. And I would change the offer up just a little bit. As far as which I cannot tell you exactly that you'll get a 1-2%. It's all about the timing and then also just the data. So just track the data. There was, when we started doing door hangers early in February last year, we weren't even getting 0.5% because the timing was off. And so the timing matters to get you that percentage. And then I would just test the data. Just test the door hangers. Do not blindly put door hangers out for many, many weeks. You guys need to almost honestly, I would track it daily, literally daily. How many door hangers went out? Okay, I put 300 door hangers out. Cool. Okay, on Tuesday, how many did we go out? And then at the end of the week, then I would pull a report of how many customers we acquired, or at the very least leads that we got. And then you could start to run the numbers on that stuff. Do that, so that way you can make good, sound decisions in your business. This is good stuff, guys. Very good stuff. Very good stuff. Very good stuff. We're coming up on the last 10 minutes. If you guys have any questions, put them in the comments below. This is the Halloween special edition, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Eggy, I have a 0 turn, but it's on its last legs. Spent too much on repairs this season. Okay. So that also accounts for something else. I would ask you, could we fix it up enough to sell it and get a quarter value or a third value of what that's worth? To me, that would make sense, right? In the off season is the time that you sell old equipment and get upgraded equipment. If you have the funds to do that, which it sounds like you do. You said you had $32K in the bank. That would be a good option. Because even if you do purchase that brand new mower for $19K, if you sold the other one and got maybe a third or a quarter of that, again, you'll still have $3 or $4K now that you'll get back that you can dump into marketing and get more mowing customers, and then will help pay for that, or at least get you your money back for the $19K so you can go redeploy it and multiply it somewhere else. Eggy says, I'm in northern Pennsylvania. We stopped mowing around end of November and start end of March. Yeah, so your mowing season is similar to ours. It's probably about 30 days off. So cool. All right, let me scrub my list here because I don't see any more questions. Let me see if I got any more educational stuff for you guys. Okay, real quick, some announcements for you guys. First off, I want to thank Jordan Cornelius. He just signed up for a 50-minute coaching call last week, and I cannot thank you enough for everybody that supports the channel, that likes, that comments, that subscribes, that pays for the coaching programs that I do. The home service scalers community, you guys allow me to reach more people. And for the longest time, and still to today, we are burning money on the media side, which means I am spending more money than I am actually making on the media side. And that's okay. I do this for you guys. I do this to help you guys, to give you encouragement, to give you hope, to help walk you through those beginning stages of business, and to grow and serve people. And so I cannot thank you enough. Jordan was the first ever coaching call for $299, 50 minute. It was an awesome call. I was able to bring him so much value. I'm sure he got 10 times that amount of value from the call. But anybody that needs one-on-one coaching, obviously tap into this stuff. It's free. But if you guys need me, in the link of every YouTube video, I have a description, or the link is in the description to book a call with me. If you guys really want to take your business to the next level, also the home service scalers, we give all of our resources out, SOPs, documents, systems, automations that we've built inside of the business that has allowed us to literally grow to 3 locations. We're going to do close to 1.1 million this year. And it's just so amazing the impact that God is allowing me to have. And I just can't thank you guys enough for all your support and everything. So let me check to see if we got any more questions here. Daryl says, thank you. All right, we got one question here. All right, Jacob says, hi, I'm from Cleveland. I saw one of your videos for weed control, but what would be the programming for this Northeast area? So Jacob, that is going to be a different program. So I do, for anybody that doesn't know, I do have an applicator training course. It's super reasonably priced. It's like I think it's $59 on Teachable. Again, it's in the descriptions of all my videos that you can tap into. That is designed for mainly people for like that central region of the United States, like, cause I'm in Northern Texas, maybe like North Carolina, like that whole brim of the US. If you're up in the Northeast, you're going to have different turf grasses than we do down here in the kind of South. So what you're going to want to do, Jacob, check with, there's companies called Site One or Ewing. These are chemical supply companies. Typically, there's a representative at those branches that are chemical specialists that I would recommend you walk into the store, figure out who the head honcho is there, introduce yourself and say, I need help building a weed control program for the turf grass area in this area. And so they'll help you build a whole setup and help you figure out what products and the timing, because the timing is the biggest thing. You just need to know, like, with the temperatures and when weeds are germinating. And every month there's new weeds that are germinating at different times. I mean, you got spring weeds, you got fall weeds, you got winter weeds, you got summer weeds. So like you have to understand the ebbs and flows of the seasonalities of things. And that chemical specialist there is designed to help you do that and build a program for you. Dan Roberts, what CRM do you use, or would you recommend? I'm looking at changing over to Jobber. Appreciate the insight, man. Dude, honestly, it depends on your goals. If you want to build a business that runs without you, I personally would recommend Copilot. It allows you to build really in-depth automations while also keeping it simple. Copilot CRM for us has worked flawlessly, or not flawlessly. There are bugs. It's not flawless. But as is anything, right? Like, it is a newer software, but what I really like is the KPI cockpit, because again, I talk to so many business owners that don't know the data of their business in order to make decisions. And it's funny because they have so many questions. They're like, Will, what do I do with this? What do I do with that? And then when I start asking them about data, well, what do you charge per hour? What is your close ratio? Like all these data points, they're like, yeah, I don't know. How do I do that? Right. So like Copilot is like bridges you to figure out those data points. So that way you can actually make data-driven decisions in your business and not just blindly drive down the road with your headlights off. Jobber's good though too. I've heard, I personally haven't used it, so I don't want, to speak negatively about that. The only things that I've heard people come over from Jobber is they said that Jobber doesn't allow you to have really in-depth automations and build that out. They just have kind of surface level automation. So it depends on like what your goals are with the business, I guess. Hi from Pay Canada. What's up, dude? We are international officially, guys. Round of applause. We are officially international. Thanks for joining us, Green Solutions. We appreciate you being here. Jacob says, thank you very much, bro. You are the best. No, you are the best. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. That is all the questions we have today. Everybody have an amazing Friday. Happy Halloween. Don't eat too much candy and get all those cavities, okay? If you got kids, maybe let them cherry pick what they want and then take the rest of the bag away, okay? Let's be good stewards of our resources that we've been blessed with. And I hope you guys all have an amazing weekend. Thank you guys so much for spending your Friday Halloween morning with me. And I hope you guys got great value from this. If you guys are watching, please like, subscribe, make sure, leave any comments, and we will see you next time. Everybody have a great day.